Good evening. Welcome to the Torrance City Council meeting for September 14th, 2021. We've been in executive session. I'm calling the meeting back into order. In public session, Mr. Shaparian, is there anything to report?
Good evening, Your Honor. There's nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us tonight. It's great to see you all in person, and I appreciate your cooperation in following Los Angeles County Public Health mandate of masking up indoors. The mask implementation is working. In fact, just last week, it was reported that COVID-19 cases among children in Los Angeles County have seen a 30% decrease. Health officials are attributing the decline to COVID testing, masking, and other safety measures that were implemented when classes resumed. We should also be seeing vaccination availability for kids 5 to 11 and FDA approval for the Pfizer booster shot very, very soon. This past weekend, we were able to come together to commemorate the 20th anniversary of 9/11. It was a beautiful ceremony, and I want to thank the Torrance Fire Department and the Torrance Police Department for putting on a very memorable event, and to our residents for joining us bright and early at 5:46 in the morning. Later that afternoon, we were able to congregate and congratulate our Torrance Little League All-Stars for the state championship title and the World Series quarterfinalist achievement. Thank you to the community members that came out to support them in the parade, and also those who came to cheer them on at the Torrance Little League field. If you missed the 9/11 event or the Torrance Little League celebration, you can find recordings on our official City of Torrance Facebook page. Another special thank you for Nomar Garcia-Parra for coming out and surprising the Little Leaguers. We continue to run normal business for our residents and community to keep Torrance moving forward. It is important to us that you have an opportunity to voice your comments during this pandemic. Public emails will continue to have a deadline of 2 p.m. on the day of the council meeting you wish to comment on. Thank you for all of those who have met today's deadline. They have been forwarded to the council as supplemental material and will be entered into the public record. Any emails submitted after the deadline will still be added to the public record, but obviously we don't have an opportunity to see them this evening. For all of you in attendance this evening, in just a few minutes, we will accept oral communications or public comment on items not on the agenda and consent items. Speaker cards are accepted before the start of a meeting and will not be entered to the speaker list after the meeting starts. You will have up to 1 minute per speaker for a period of up to 15 minutes. Comments on administrative matters as they are considered allow up to 1 minute per speaker. Comments on public hearings allow up to 2 minutes per speaker. The speaker clock starts as soon as you step to the microphone. Time limits will be strictly enforced to ensure equal opportunity. We request that speakers keep their remarks brief and limited to the topic of discussion. At the end of the meeting, we have another 15 minutes for oral communication number 2, which will allow up to 1 minute per speaker. City Clerk, have emails received before 2 p.m. today been processed as supplemental material and provided to the City Council?
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Thank you. Then we'll move on with the agenda. The next item is the flag salute led by Councilmember Griffiths, followed by an invocation by Councilmember Kalani. Please stand.
Please join me as we honor our flag and our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, as we come together tonight as a community, remind us of this very day 20 years ago, a day following the tragic events of 9/11, 2001, the moments after, where we came together as a country, a community, where there was nothing separating us. In a time of despair, we found hope. In the darkness, we found light. We were united. We joined together in those days following to recover, to heal, to grow, and to be better than before. Help us come together tonight as we seek your guidance to have that same strength of spirit, peace, and unity. God bless us all. Amen.
Thank you both. We'll take a report of the City Clerk on the posting of the agenda.
Your Honor, this agenda was posted Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, with a revised agenda posted on Thursday, September 9th, 2021.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to waive further reading.
Move to waive further readings.
I will second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Announcement of withdrawn, deferred, and/or supplemental items.
Thank you, Your Honor. Adam Chaparro, City Manager. Item 80, we're withdrawing. This is from the City Manager and HR to provide proposed class specification for Ranger Supervisor. Have been withdrawn and we present at a later time. Request for continuance of hearing. There has been a request by the appellant to continue item 10A to either October or November. Item 10A is a hearing to consider an appeal with the Planning Commission's approval to allow construction of an infinity edge pool at 5109 Paseo de las Tortugas. Supplemental materials. Item 7, oral communications. Item 8B, from the Parks and Recreation Commission and Community Services to accept and file 2020-21 Parks and Recreation Commission Annual Report. Item 8C, from Public Works, to reject all bids received for construction of the Van Ness Water Wells Transmission Main. Items 8I, 8J, and 8K, from City Manager and Human Resources to approve revised class specifications for fire captain, fire recruit, and firefighter, and warehouse supervisor. Item 9D, from the State Legislative Advocacy Committee to approve and concur with committee's position on resolutions and bylaws of the League of California Cities and appoint voting delegate. And lastly, as I mentioned, item 10A, the request to consider the appeal of Planning Commission's approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaparian. And Council Committee meetings and announcements, we have none laying here right now. But I would go on to call 10A at this time. And the reason I'm calling 10A is to determine if the council wishes to continue this matter. We've received a number of requests by the appellants, and because of the legal limitations that staff has, that it had to be put on the agenda by a certain date, and it was. And then after that, the only ones who can remove it from that date would be this council. So I'm going to call and open up the public hearing so that if we do continue this, we will be continuing it to a date certain, which would allow everyone to know exactly when and where this hearing will be held. So now is the time and the place for a public hearing on agenda item 10A, a recommendation of the Planning Commission and the Community Development Director that the City Council deny the appeal and adopt a resolution approving a minor hillside exemption to allow the construction of an infinity edge pool with surrounding deck on property located within the Hillside Overlay District in the R1 zone at 5109 Paseo de las Tortugas. Has the matter been properly advertised?
Yes, Your Honor, it has.
Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, we've received a number of requests to continue this by the appellant through their attorney, Mr. Popko, I believe. And I'm inclined to make the motion myself that we continue this to a date certain so that all parties will have the opportunity to be heard and their due process rights protected. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Now, should I indicate now the date in the motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now I look to staff for a date.
Your Honor, Danny Santana, Assistant City Manager. Two dates that would be available would be October 12th or October 26th.
I understand we have a very busy calendar on October 12th,
That would be correct, Your Honor.
so the preference would be October 26th.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion to continue this to October 26th without further notice,
Yes, sir.
and we have a second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Chen and Councilmember Matucci voting no.
Okay, for those of you who are here for item 10A, we ask you to come back on October 26th. There will be no further continuances. That will be the date that that action will be taken on item 10A. Thank you very much for being here. Sorry that we couldn't give you notice ahead of time, but unfortunately, that's the way the law provides. We move on to community matters. Item 6A, may we have a number and title, please?
Yes, Your Honor. This is resolution number 2021-80, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, honoring Via A. Hamilton upon her retirement from the city after 23 years of service.
Take a motion.
I move to adopt Resolution 2021-80.
I'll second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. That resolution will be presented at a later date. Takes us to item 6B, a proclamation declaring Saturday, September 18th, 2021 as Coastal Cleanup Day in the city of Torrance. I believe we have a staff presentation.
Good evening, Your Honorable Body. Leslie Cortez with the Community Development Department. After a couple of years, since 2019, of not being able to hold our annual coastal cleanup event that we've done for the past 27 years, we were excited to hear just a few weeks ago from the county that we are allowed to do in-person cleanups. To adhere to the county order, the city is now kind of taking a spin on that and hosting smaller hybrid events throughout Torrance. We spoke to business owners, residents, homeowners associations as to where they thought the city would be most in need for cleanups, and of course the Torrance Beach was the #1 selection. And then we selected 2 other areas, which would be Sur La Brea Park and downtown Torrance. So volunteers for the downtown Torrance community cleanup will check in at Centennial Plaza, El Prado Park, and if I can are we gonna do should I tell you more about should I wait till tell you more about the information, or go ahead and give it? So volunteers at the downtown Torrance community cleanup will check in at Centennial Plaza, El Prado Park. Street parking is available as well as the parking structures. The Sur La Brea Park cleanup is located at 23610 Cabrillo Avenue, and parking is available along all the side streets. Volunteers for the Torrance Beach cleanup will meet at Miramar Park, located at 201 Paseo de la Playa. Metered and unmetered parking is available along the side streets, but unless something changes last minute, the Torrance Beach cleanup volunteers will actually receive free parking in the county lot. I just received word just before this meeting, though, that the Torrance Beach site is at capacity. So we really encourage the community to come out to the downtown Torrance cleanup and the Sur La Brea cleanup. We could really use volunteers out there as well. Being that it's the first actual community cleanup event at downtown Torrance, the volunteers will be picking up trash at several of the parklets and along the streets and sidewalks along Cravens, Post, Marcelina, Cabrillo, Sartori, and El Prado, and along the railroad tracks on Torrance Boulevard from Western all the way into Old Torrance. And to make it a true cleanup, we will also be sweeping leaves and debris around the sidewalks in front of the downtown businesses and the alleys, as well as dusting the lamp posts throughout downtown in preparation of their downtown scare down in October. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Leslie. And we, as a council, have a proclamation. And I ask Councilmember Matucci to do the honors, please.
Pleasure, Mayor. Whereas Torrance Beach is a valuable recreational and environmental asset to the city of Torrance, and for economic, aesthetic, and environmental reasons, the quality of Torrance Beach and all Los Angeles County beaches should be a paramount concern to all residents. And whereas on Saturday, September 18th, 2021, the City of Torrance will partner in conjunction with Heal the Bay and California Coastal Commission to participate in the annual Coastal Cleanup Day. And whereas Coastal Cleanup Day is the largest volunteer day in the world, it raises environmental awareness within the community of the detrimental effect of trash and marine debris on the environment, and gives the public an opportunity to see the immediate impact they have made by removing this debris in a matter of 3 hours. And whereas As part of the Torrance Cares program, Torrance will host 3 hybrid community cleanup sites throughout the city in recognition of Coastal Cleanup Month. And volunteers throughout the community will take positive action by combing the beach, parks, and neighborhoods for trash. And whereas the 2021 Community Cleanup Day is recognized as the day of service by the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Coastal Cleanup Day is sponsored in California by the California Coastal Commission, and this event in Los Angeles County is coordinated by Heal the Bay, with assistance from the Los Angeles County Department of Beaches and Harbors.
Now therefore, I, Patrick J. Fury, as mayor of the city of Torrance, California, do hereby proclaim Saturday, September 18th, 2021 as Coastal Cleanup and Community Cleanup Day in the city of Torrance, and I urge all residents to participate in maintaining Torrance Beach and all other beaches to demonstrate our commitment to environmental awareness and ecological improvement. Signed this 14th day of September, 2021. And I know we have a couple of representatives from the Chamber of Commerce as well as the Downtown Business Association would like to join us up here.
So with us today, we have our site captains, John LaRocque from Community Services, who is heading up Sur La Brea Park. We have Garrett Craig from the Community Services Department, who will be captaining at Torrance Beach, Miramar Park. Julie Randall from the Downtown Torrance Business Owners Association. She is the president. She will be heading up Downtown Torrance with myself. And then Donna Duperon, president and chair of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce.
Who wants to go first? Tell us which one.
Thank you. Pardon me? Oh. Hi. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, it's our pleasure to once again be partnering with the City of Torrance in this Community Day of Service. We encourage and acknowledge all of our members who have taken part in the past years in really cleaning the beach, but developing partnerships and really relationships with companies that have just come back to clean up the beach and have their employees do the same. So again, it is our pleasure, and we will continue to ask our members to come out and support.
Well, Downtown Torrance is really happy to be included this year. We've got lots of places that need cleanup, and there's still room for people to sign up and volunteer. So thank you.
Good evening, John LaRocque, Community Services. I just want to remind the public that it is actually a coastal cleanup month in the city of Torrance. So if you're not participating on Saturday, you can sign up to run your own group through the Heal the Bay Coastal Cleanup website. Pick any park or other city public space in your community. Make a difference by doing a mini cleanup and providing this goal of making Torrance a cleaner, better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. And ask me over before the meeting starts.
Okay.
You forgot to talk about that sewage spill. Are you gonna clean up the sewage spill? You yes, okay, lots of sewage in the ocean. Stay running.
Next item on the agenda is item 6C, recognition of Olympic medalist Brian Burrows for earning a bronze medal in the mixed team trap shooting. This evening, it's our pleasure to honor and recognize the Olympic bronze medalist and Torrance native Brian Burrows, who you see on the screen right now. Starting at a young age, Brian Burrows has committed himself to the sport that he loves, competitive trap shooting. Brian's devotion to competitive trap shooting started as a youth competing in the American Trap Association by the age of 8. Since then, Brian Burrows has honed his talent and turned his hobby into a successful sports career, playing for the U.S. shooting national team from 2008 to 2016, and then 2018 to the present day. Brian is a collegiate national champion, All-American, 2-time Pan American medalist, 3-time national champion, and 2-time World Cup medalist. He took home the gold medal at the Pan Am Games in 2019, earning an Olympic quota spot for Team USA. These significant achievements have been made Brian a star both in the South Bay community and worldwide, proving that what an outstanding athlete he is and showing what a person with talent combined with hard work, discipline, and determination can achieve. It's my honor today to have this opportunity to recognize Brian Burrows for his outstanding achievement throughout his career. We are proud to call you as one of our own. At this time, I'd like to welcome Brian, who is joining us via Zoom with his 5 family members to council chambers to accept this certificate of recognition. Brian, it's for you.
Hi, thank you very much for the recognition. I feel so honored to be recognized by my community and really chasing my Olympic dream. I've lived in many different cities and many different states, but I'll always consider Torrance my home. In fact, Torrance has been not just my home, but my family's home for more than 70 years. And we love the South Bay, and we love Torrance. It's a great place to grow up and live, and we absolutely love it. And it's a really great feeling to be able to represent not just the United States, but my hometown of Torrance. And being able to come from such a place with such other great Olympians like Louis Zamperini and Michelle Kwan, it's truly an honor to be able to continue that legacy. And a little moment from the games, from the Olympics, when I went there, it was a little bit different, not what I expected. But I have so many incredible memories, and one of the most indelible memories is when my teammate, Maddie Bernal, and I were standing on the podium, and we were watching our flag being raised, and it was just a special time with the medal around my neck, and me and my teammate were able to just watch the flag go up, and that's a memory that I wanted to share with everybody, and that'll just be branded on my mind forever. But thank you so much for the recognition, and I'm so thankful that my family could be there, even though I had to come via Zoom. I know you guys are there, and thank you very much for everything.
Brian, I want to tell you they were very, very proud, and we're all going to give you a round of applause right now. And like your family, we're very, very proud of you as well. Like you said, the history of the Olympians coming from our city is just amazing when you consider how small we are compared to the entire world. Oops, there we go. Thank you very much for taking the time to stop in on us via Zoom. We certainly do appreciate that you taking the time. And like I said, you've made us very proud.
Thank you very much.
I think we're all getting used to Zoom meetings and Zoom guests, but it's really nice that it gives us the opportunity to do this tonight. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. Well, thank you all for stopping by. We appreciate you being here. We move on with the agenda. Item 7 is oral communications number 1. As I mentioned at the onset, it's limited to a 15-minute period. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comment on items under the consent calendar or items that are not on the agenda. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, City Council cannot act on items raised during public comment, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Speakers under orals are limited to either oral communication number 1 or oral communication number 2, and in any event, no longer than 1 minute per speaker. We have some people who have signed up, and our clerk will call them in order.
Jason R.
All right, y'all. It's on? No, it's not on.
It's on.
Is it on? You can hear me? It's not on. It's not on. All right. So I'm here to demand that this criminal collection of city council members fire officers Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez, who murdered Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. While you were on recess, Gascon charged Torrance PD officer David Chandler Jr. with 1 felony count of assault for shooting and wounding a man who was having a mental health crisis in 2018. Y'all getting scared yet? You need to create a civilian oversight committee, as you were instructed to do by a grand jury in 2018. This committee is a no-brainer, as this department has been plagued with documented cases of racism, sexism, and xenophobia over the years. Just in February 2017, y'all suspended Chief Mark Matsuda after he made hostile remarks about women, black people, the LGBT community, and Muslims. So we know that this culture of this department it's oozing of white supremacy and racism. Matucci, you wearing a mask, something you don't believe in. Where's your hood, the thing that you do believe in? Fuck y'all.
Tom Lambchop.
Did you say lamb chop or pork chop?
Tom Lambchop.
My bad.
Yes, hi. I attended the Airport Commission meeting last week. I'll tell you, it was really interesting. We had somebody from the FAA come and speak, and he pointed out that the city of Torrance does have the ability to deal with the noise issues coming out of the airport and the airplanes. He just said you got to have the political will. Anyway, it should be interesting in the next few months, because I guess there are going to be some meetings. But what we've been hearing from the Torrance Airport Association clearly is skewed, and well, I mean, I've in my lifetime, I've shoveled out a few stables, and that's what was coming out of the Torrance Airport Association, which represents pilots, not the city. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Pork Chop.
Hello, I would like to make some public announcement what Mr. Sheparian and the mayor and the other high officials, council member never does. There is a 14th member of the Torrance Police Department who is under investigation, and I think it's a paid vacation, and you should have just announced that too. But I think from the bad things, one good thing come out. At the Zamperini field, the Torrance Airport, the swastika finally was removed, because nothing represents better your thinking and your brain, or whatever you would call them, than displaying swastika flag year after year after year at the Torrance Municipal Airport. Thank God somebody removed it. But maybe those officers who were painting swastikas in people's cars, maybe they get the idea. Painting and displaying swastikas is a good thing in Torrance. I'm happy you removed it.
Thank you, sir.
Luke Moscow.
Hello, how are you guys today? My name is Luke Moscow. I represent the RC track and the RC community. We just wanted to give a big thanks to John Jones, John LaRock, and especially Tracy Drake for all her hard work, and also John's hard work behind the scenes. We look forward to working with the city on the project, and we have a great group that is eager to make this happen and make it a success. So, hello everybody. Hopefully we'll be talking with you guys in the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you.
LQW.
LPW? Oh. Anybody else? Anybody else signed up?
No one else has signed up.
Anybody else wish to be heard?
My name is Keely. I'm with Black Lives Matters LA. You should know us by now because we come here every week. We come to Torrance, Mississippi, because we know that this is a racist city led by racist leaders. And so we come here knowing that. We come here knowing that you don't mind being called racist. We know coming here every week that some of you identify with being racist. We know that. But yet we come every week demanding justice for the family of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, and that you fire the 2 police officers that murdered him and establish a citizens review. You all have heard this from us, and you will continue to hear it from us from as long as we will exist, because one of the things that created us and helps us exist is saying Black Lives Matter. And so we're going to be here to remind you of that every week. We demand justice for the family. Say his name.
Christopher DeAndre Mitchell.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wish to be heard?
As you guys know, we have come time and time again to ask for the same demands. Fire Matthew Concannon and what's his other? The other one, Anthony Chavez. Fire them. They are murderers. Obviously, you guys are okay with having this white supremacy in the police department. You're okay with that. Obviously, with the many reports that are piling up in your police reports every single week, basically. You guys must be okay with that. You must be okay with that's how the community doesn't feel safe with white supremacists running rampant on your watch, because you guys clearly identify as that. We know with Chuchi when he, with his flag-bearing self during the white supremacist uprisings, that you guys are absolutely okay with that. It's embarrassing that you guys could sit here every single week with blank looks on your face and be so damn heartless. Christopher DeAndre's life mattered. His mother is mourning every single day. And all you need to do is fire the people that murdered her only child.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's very
your time's
simple.
up. Ma'am, your time is up.
Now, that's what we're demanding.
Ma'am, your time is up. Thank you.
Since I've been here today, I've been thinking about the Torrance Police Department, as I so often do. I was thinking how great it could be if we could just clean up that racist, brutal, murdering department just by going to the beach and picking up some trash. But it doesn't work that way. You have such a long way to go before you can do that, and you're not even willing to take the tiny baby steps to honor Christopher DeAndre Mitchell's memory. You're not even willing to set up a commission to oversee those cops. You're not willing to fire the ones who murdered him. You are obviously very comfortable with everybody knowing what racist bigots you are and how proud you are of your police department, which is something we hear all the time. But it's coming to light more and more. You are not going to be able to hide. You are going to be shamed and embarrassed when
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor Fury and fellow City Council members. You're in a position individually and collectively to change the covert and overt racism that continues to take place in this city of Torrance. Hitler, Auschwitz, extermination camps. Wrong, morally wicked, racist. Japanese internment camps. Wrong, morally wicked, racist. The Trail of Tears. Wrong, morally wicked, racist. The perpetuation of your officers killing innocent, unarmed, colored people with impunity. Just as wrong, just as morally wicked, just as racist. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
Hello. And we talk about cleaning up beaches, but while we're talking about cleaning up beaches, why don't you as well clean up your racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, misogynistic, transphobic, anti-Semitic, white supremacist, untrained police force? I'm here to stand with Sherilyn Haynes and the family of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell and demand that you implement a civilian oversight commission for the dangerous Torrance Police Department to try to make this city a safer place for your corrupt and racist police department and to keep the police accountable for murder. We demand that you fire the 2 officers who killed Christopher, Anthony Chavez, Matthew Concannon. Christopher's hands were up, and he was complying with their orders within those 15 seconds of being approached, but was ultimately killed by these racist, corrupt officers. Regarding Sherilyn Haynes, Christopher's mother, can you imagine living in a world where a city council as yourselves tells you week after week that your son's life didn't matter?
Thank you, sir. Your time's up. Anybody else? Yes.
I'm here to welcome you to the opening reception of the Serbiennial Social Fabric and Video Awards at the Torrance Art Museum this Saturday, September 18th, from 6 to 9 p.m. Curated by Ismail De Anda III and the museum's Max Presnell, the 6th Serbiennial features artists whose works investigate pluralistic cultural heritages from Mexico, Central America, and South America. Social Fabric is an exhibition of socially engaged fiber art which explores gender representation and the new norms of our social media society. Video Awards is the 5th special project by Mag Art, an international video arts festival in Naples, Italy. In this project, 30 international artists interpret 15 pairs of contradictory words. Thank you for your support of the Nomad pop-up event. Roughly 4,500 to 5,000 people came. A special shout out to Mayor Fury, Councilmember Griffiths, City Manager Aaron Chaparian, Community Service Director John Larock. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll move on with our agenda.
With the exception of 8E, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar in its balance of its entirety.
I second the motion.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that carried unanimously.
Thank you. Brings us to administrative matters. Item 9A, from the city manager to provide COVID-19 recovery update and determine directions on orders from the County of Los Angeles and the state of California regarding COVID-19. From the city manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. Adam Chaparian, City Manager. Item 9A is our monthly update regarding COVID-19. Since our last update, we continue to provide business assistance. We're following the LA County protocols. As you know, the Delta variant has been greatly impacting our community. We are seeing hospitalization numbers start to reduce, which is a great sign. At the same time, we're following the potential mandates from per the President's Proclamation, as well as implementing the required vaccination, the required mandates for our first responders in public safety, as far as paramedics, as well as after-school programs and our jailers. With that, I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? I see none. We have some speakers who have signed up.
Pork chop?
This is Memorex. Hello. All right. So okay, thank you. All right. So what I would like to say is that it's all nice. The city was doing the right things. I just don't understand why our first responders, the firefighters and the police, cannot follow your suggestions and your rules. I just watched the city cable segment when a firefighter captain and the crew, E92, celebrating somebody's birthday, and the guy is like crying, the fire captain, because he got COVID and he had to sleep 30 days or something in his garage. I wonder if he followed the rules and regulations, and you know, why is he celebrating birthday parties, and why is a man crying?
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Elke W.
I see no one. Anybody else wish to be heard? Seeing no one, I'll take a motion to accept and file.
I move to accept and file. Item 9A.
I second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9B, from the city attorney and the city manager to review and determine need to extend a local emergency related to COVID-19. From staff?
Yes, Your Honor. Patrick Sullivan, city attorney. This is the item that we bring every couple months in compliance with the government code to review the need to extend the state of emergency due to COVID-19. This doesn't affect any of the orders that have been issued by the state of California or the county of Los Angeles. This just allows us to issue any rules, regulations, or orders that we need to deal with the COVID-19 emergency. And most importantly, it allows us to seek reimbursement from the federal and state governments for expenditures related to COVID-19. I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions from the council? I see none. We have a couple of people signed up.
Pork chop?
Hi, I try to stay on the topic again. I'm just really wondering how come our orders are not extended or not followed at all. We have policemen and firemen sick, and they're not following the orders, because I'm following the orders and I'm not sick, and I'm an old fart. But I'm following the order. I try to do the right thing and extend this or not extend it. I'm distancing, I'm wearing my mask, I don't go out gallivanting like the fire department. I caught them shopping at Sam's Club yesterday, and they all know my name, Pat Furry, they all know my name, believe me. They have my pictures and everything, and my address, so they're gonna find me when I don't need them because they're shopping, and they're picking up more germs. So these orders,
Thank you, Mr. Turda. Anybody else?
LKW?
I don't think there's an LKW. Anybody else wish to be heard? Seeing none, I'll take this, I need a number and title.
Yes, Your Honor. This is resolution number 2021-81, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, ratifying and extending the existence of a local emergency regarding COVID-19 in the City of Torrance.
Move to adopt resolution number 2021-81.
I'll second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. That brings us to item 9C, from the city manager's office to approve a side letter agreement between Torrance Municipal Employees, AFSCME Local 1117, and management. From staff.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Katie Wand. I'm with the City Manager's Office. Item 9C is a recommendation of the City Manager that City Council approve a side letter agreement between Torrance Municipal Employees, AFSCME Local 1117, and management to implement a 5% dispatch lead premium for public safety dispatchers when acting in such a capacity. A side letter is an agreement between an employer and union that typically modifies, clarifies, or interprets an existing provision in an MOU or addresses issues of interest to the parties that are not otherwise covered by the MOU. City Council has approved the side letter in closed session. However, staff is formally seeking approval in open session to ensure compliance with CalPERS. Management and TME AFSCME Local 1117 have met and reached an agreement as noted on the side letter document attached to tonight's item. Chief Hart and I are both available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Does any council member have a question, comment? Seeing none, we have somebody lined up.
Pork chop?
Thank you.
I'll take a motion to approve a side letter agreement between Torrance Municipal Employees, AFSCME 1117, and management.
So moved.
I second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. That brings us to item 9D from the State Legislative Advocacy Committee to approve and concur with committee's position on resolutions and bylaws of the League of California Cities and appoint a voting delegate. On September 8, 2021, the City Council State Legislative Advocacy Committee met to consider and recommend to Council the position taken by the Committee on the League of California Cities resolutions to be presented at the annual conference at the Safe Credit Union Convention Center in Sacramento, California on September 22 through September 24, 2021. Members of the State Legislative Advocacy Committee are Council Members Griffith, Councilmember Chen, and myself as chair of the committee. The review process included a brief summary of the resolutions and bylaws, position taken by the League of California Cities and city staff. Public comment, discussion of council, and council committee took position to recommend to council. Jeff Kiernan, Regional Public Affairs Manager for the League of California Cities, attended the meeting and provided the League's position on both resolutions and the bylaws. The committee used the city's established criteria to determine the potential impact to local control, finances, and public safety. Staff provided an analysis on each proposition based on their area of expertise to the committee. After discussion and review of positions taken by the League of California Cities and staff, the committee discussed issues with staff to determine committee's position. Much discussion ensued that resulted in the following recommendations by the committee. Resolution number 1, an online sales tax equity. This resolution would direct Cal Cities to work with state legislature to develop legislation which would take into consideration on how distribution centers, distribution facilities, and impacts they would have on the host cities and their residents. The recommended position of staff was to oppose. Position of the committee, to oppose, and 1 support by Councilmember Chen. Councilmember Chen, would you like to say a few words on your vote?
Yes, I do, Mayor. And I just want to share with the public and my colleagues, I believe there's a supplemental that's in the pink sheet that you all received today. This supplemental is actually part of the package at the committee, and I would share why I supported this the resolution as recommended. And the best way to do it is if you look at this supplemental, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. It's very hard to read. The 3rd column is the one that I want to point you to better share my why I agree. If you search in the Amazon on how many fulfillment centers there are in the state of California, there's roughly 29. So if you do a search, you'll see that. And the city of Eastvale actually has 3 fulfillment centers that Amazon has declared that would be where their company is also based at. The resolution really asks that for only those cases where a city hosts a fulfillment center, that we consider a equitable way to receive sales tax. This is for this particular case that they found out in the fall of 2020. these 29 cities, which has, we'll call it Amazon fulfillment centers, will receive the benefit of sales tax that cities like Torrance and 90% of the rest of the cities in California does not receive. All the other online sales revenue we receive as distributed per county and state guidelines. But for the 29 cities who have fulfillment centers, they get the sales tax revenue regardless of where the shipment is received, which means, looking on behalf of the interests of Torrance, if every one of us we know who buys things from Amazon, which has a fulfillment center, in one of these 29 cities in California, which has an Amazon fulfillment center, those sales tax revenues we are not receiving. This resolution suggests the League of California Cities to talk with state regulators to see if there's a better way so that not only those 29 cities gets revenue, in this case for the online sales. And that is why I chose to support looking into a more equitable way. So cities like Torrance and 90% of the cities in California does not get shut out, where only these 29 cities gain a full revenue, regardless of where the end product is delivered to. So that's my explanation why I chose to support. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And the reason I supported the position that we took is because it would change the revenue stream coming to the city of Torrance. At the present time, the monies that are collected for online sales are distributed to cities based upon their sales tax revenue receipts per year. We in the city of Torrance, we have about 1% of the population of the county of Los Angeles, and we receive just north of 3% of the sales tax generated by online sales, which is actually better than we would receive under any of the other machinations that the league is looking at. One of the things, the problem with taxing it at the place of receipt is that we know that our sales tax revenue is actually produced by 60% of people who do not live in our city. They come here to shop in our mall, they buy their vehicles in our city, and we receive sales tax revenue based upon that. And online sales will impact the brick and mortars, as we have seen. All we had to do is look at the first and second quarter of 2020 to see how much online sales usurped what is brick and mortar. So to keep it fair for us to receive the money that we would receive, because we can understand that people would be purchasing at our mall or in our brick and mortar stores or at our car dealerships instead of buying online, we believe that the method that they're using right now is correct. Rather than giving a large sum of money to cities such as Eastdale, who has 3 major distributions there, they would receive an inordinate amount of the sales tax revenue, and we would not. So that was the reason that I supported it. Councilmember Griffiths, would you like to add?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Mayor stated some of the reasons that I voted against this, and that was primarily being the number 3 sales tax generator in LA County out of 88 cities. We're in the top 3. That means that there's 85 cities below us who basically are targeting us for getting a piece of our sales tax. And honestly, I think that this whole idea of a resolution for redoing the sales tax allocation is premature. I think there's much more information that should be analyzed, and in order to send this information up to Sacramento for the state legislators to take a look at. And honestly, I'm not very confident in the state legislature's ability to properly allocate the sales tax in a way that it won't hurt us. And so I think there's more opportunities for us to be hurt by moving this forward than for us to do any gaining. And that's why I believe that this is a flawed effort, and I oppose it.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments by the council? Councilmember Chen?
Thank you, Mayor. Based on what I believe what I just heard from the Mayor and Councilman Griffith, I just want to clarify because I think there may be a little confusion here based on what I shared with you. If you look at the supplemental, what I attempted to say, even the reference to the city of Eastvale, Eastvale was actually against this. That's because Eastvale has 3 fulfillment centers. All of the brick and mortar purchases in Torrance and all the other online sales revenue we gain today that we've always been used to, that does not get touched should we support this resolution. Supporting this resolution is to look at there's revenue we're not receiving that only cities that has fulfillment centers. I just want to make sure I make that clarification. Thank you.
Councilmember Matucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to clarify, this is just a resolution. It's not, we're not changing the laws, we're not changing anything, so we're just basically showing our support or not support of a, technically just a letter. Correct? Yeah. So that's, I just wanted to clarify that we're not changing the structure of anything. All right. Thank you.
No, it's the League of California Cities has taken a position that was proposed by a number of cities, smaller cities, and some larger cities as well, I imagine. But as Councilmember Griffiths and I say, the methodology they're using now is fair to us for our sales tax, and we believe that should remain the way rather than certain cities getting a better benefit out of it. Any other questions by council? I see none. We have somebody signed up.
Pork chop.
Hello, everyone. I did not look into too deep to this thing, but what I think it's a good thing if you go after and collect the taxes, what is due to the city. But also, you don't have to bellyache because other cities take more taxes. You just mentioned it. City of Torrance takes 60% of the taxes generated by other people than the residents of the city. You know, Delano and all that thing. But it's a good thing you're going after the taxes. But if you don't like this league or whatever, if it's not good for the city of Torrance, then don't pay into it and don't go into it and just tell them, screw you. So if it's not good for the city, then screw them. And also, whatever the Torrance city, I mean the Torrance residents buy in other cities, for your thinking, then we're losing money over there. So everybody buy in Torrance and then collect the taxes for Torrance. Don't raise.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Let's start with George Chen. Do you know the difference between the Amazon and Amazon? Just wanted to make sure. It's always confusing with you, Chen. You babble, goddamn, you're boring. How are you going to become mayor? If y'all care about money and online sales equity, maybe you should care about racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, police brutality, racial equity. Those are a couple things you could care more about. You know what would change the revenue stream of Torrance? The accountability of police, starting with the firing of Anthony Chavez and Matthew Concannon, the creation of a civilian oversight committee, and the eradication of racism at this council, the police department in the city, which means y'all would lose your jobs and everyone else would lose their jobs in the police department. I want to say fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Anybody else wish to be heard? Seeing no one, we will take a vote on each of the resolutions. So resolution number 1, it is the committee's recommendation that we oppose, and that was on a 2-to-1 vote. So we'll take a motion.
Yes, Mayor, I move to take the position to oppose the proposed resolution.
I'll second.
Start voting, please.
A yes means we are opposing.
That motion carried with Councilmember Chen and Councilmember Bertucci voting no.
Thank you. We move on to resolution number 2, secure railroad property. This resolution would look at railroads, right-of-ways, and urge the League of California Cities to work with the legislators and governor to provide a regulatory authority to address illegal dumping, graffiti, and homelessness within their jurisdiction along the railroad's right-of-way. Recommended position of staff was support. And I can ask Mr. Belazarian to give us the reason why.
Thank you, Your Honor. Craig Belazarian, Public Works. This essentially would put more pressure on, or allow a legislative body to put more pressure on the railroads to deal with illegal dumping, graffiti, things that are unsightly in their particular right-of-way. Torrance does reach out to these railroad companies. Unfortunately, because of their current workloads and models of maintenance, they're not always able to address this in a timely manner. We feel this would help the city and other agencies that have railroad right-of-ways. Thank you.
Thank you. A unanimous vote of 3-0 to support the resolution number 2. Is there any questions of our colleagues on the council? I see none. Anybody from the public wish to be heard about the resolution to secure railroad property? I see no one. I'll take a motion to approve resolution number 2, the support position taken by the council committee.
I move to approve legislative item number 2.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Finally, the State Legislative Committee took position on the bylaws. The League of California Cities strategic plan is part of that, which is reviewed by the governance, how the board is chosen, selected, and complete their terms, and what they need to do to make those changes. In addition to making the technical changes into the bylaws, it was noticed that the Diversity Caucus operated outside the bylaws for a number of years, and the idea presented to bring them into the League of California Cities and officially place them into the bylaws and provide them with a seat on the board. The city attorney reviewed the bylaws and indicated there were no concerns or impacts to the city, only some minor grammatical errors. The position of the committee was to support with a vote of 2 to support the bylaws and 1 to oppose by Councilmember Chen. Councilmember Chen, would you like to say a few words on your vote regarding the bylaws?
Yes, I do, Mayor. Thank you very much. With respect to the bylaws, I really don't have an issue with the general changes, such as the change in the League of Cities to Cal Cities. The area where they talk about automatically including members on the board that are from the 5 caucuses, the part that I did not agree with. I actually did a search and all the leadership positions in the League of California Cities that's serving today, and I flipped through them. There are members that's from each of those caucuses, for example, API or the Women's Caucus, that are already on the board. I am opposed to, just because I am an Asian Pacific Islander, that automatically puts me in the board position if I did not have the right qualifications or did not go through the process. I believe they already have those processes. The membership is very diverse already. It should not just based on some kind of a caucus. So I believe they're already represented. We don't have to go and just say, you know, you're an API, so you get automatically 1. You know, you're a Women's Caucus, you automatically get 1. All the members are already represented, and that's the reason why I oppose. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffiths, do you want to opine?
No comments, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody from the public wish to be heard?
Hey, George, just wondering, when you did your search, did you do it on the Google or on Google? You're concerned with the right qualifications for this position on the caucus. Do you have the right qualifications to be on this fucking city council? Do you have the right qualifications to be mayor? That's it. Fuck y'all.
Anybody else? Seeing no one else, I will take a motion to adopt the committee's recommendation.
Mayor, I move to concur with the committee's recommendation and support the changes in the bylaws.
I second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Chen voting no.
Thank you. Lastly, it is the policy of the City Council that I, Mayor, appoint members to the various regional boards and agencies. At the September 8th, 2021 City Council State Legislative Advocacy Committee meeting, I designated Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Mike Griffiths as the voting delegate. Councilmember Griffiths will be attending and representing the City of Torrance at the General Assembly meeting that will take place on Friday, September 24th, 2021 at the Safe Credit Union Convention Center in Sacramento. It's the recommendation of the State Legislative Committee to approve and concur with the committee's position on the aforementioned appointment. And I did want to say thank you for doing it, and that I did ask him in advance. I didn't just put him under that position. So he was willing to do it. And I don't believe we need any legislative motions on that, so we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 9E from the City Manager's Office to adopt a resolution amending Resolution number 2018-65 for Torrance Professional and Supervisory Association, TIPSA, to add the position of Ranger Supervisor. And from staff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Katie Wand with the City Manager's Office. Item 9E is a recommendation of the City Manager that City Council adopt a resolution amending the Torrance Professional and Supervisory Association, otherwise known as TIPSA, resolution to add the position of Ranger Supervisor and eliminate 1.0 Animal Control Officer and 1.0 Program Coordinator positions in the Community Services Department, and that's to fund the addition of the one full-time equivalent Ranger Supervisor position in the Community Services Department. The Ranger Supervisor class specification was approved by the Civil Service Commission in November 2020 and by City Council in December 2020 in hopes of the Animal Control Program transition being completed by the end of last year. Due to meet and confer obligations, the incumbent animal control personnel did not actually transfer to the Community Services Department until July of this year. Until the personnel were transferred to Community Services, there was not a need to recruit for the Ranger Supervisor position. As such, staff delayed seeking formal approval until the department was ready to begin recruitment efforts. At this time, staff is recommending that this position be added to the TIPSA MOU so that the department can begin recruitment for the Ranger Supervisor position. As previously mentioned, this is a new classification, but it is being funded through the reduction of 2.0 full-time equivalent positions that are currently in the Community Services Department, and the funding for the Animal Control Officer and the Program Coordinator positions, which are being eliminated, were approved by City Council in the fiscal year 2021-23 adopted biennial budget and capital improvement plan. The subsequent appropriations resolutions were approved on May 18th, 2021. Staff has met with TIPSA and they are supportive of adding this position to their MOU. This is a civil service position, and both myself and Mr. John LaRock of the Community Services Department are available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Are there any questions from the council? I see none. We have someone signed up.
Pork chop.
Mr. Turda.
Thank you for letting me speak again and not kicking me out yet. All right, so
it's early.
We are in a position there after the pandemic and everything when we have to save money. That means spend less, even for people who go to school with a little yellow bus. But instead of saving money, you are creating a supervisor position. I don't know how many of you see a park rangers in our park. I never see one. I saw with a car, and I see him here in the City Hall. Last time I saw a park ranger that was 2 person washing his car, not just washing, detailing at the city parking lot. That was on a Saturday I visited here. So we don't need more expenses. We have to cut back.
Thank you, sir.
So let's see here. What was that number quoted at? $95,192 for a range supervisor for the Torrance Professional and Supervisory Association, TIPSA. I wonder where that money could be better spent. Ah, yes, the creation of a civilian oversight committee of this racist Torrance Police Department. Matucci, since you like staring at me, I read that you're a Torrance Police Department neighborhood watch captain. Good to know that you're licking boots at home when you're not writing for the police department here. Real estate is your reality, but being a cop is your fantasy. But once Gascon is done with this department, you might have a new job. Fuck y'all. For real, fuck every single one of y'all. You are racist. All right? You need to fire the officers, Matthew Concannon and Anthony Chavez. Just do that shit. Why is it so hard and create a civilian oversight commission with this money? This money, $95,000, that could create something that would better your city. Why don't you do that shit? Why? Why? Because you're racist. Fuck every single one of y'all.
Thank you, sir.
And again and again. I'll continue.
Your time's up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mayor, you mentioned how comfortable you are in your role of the person who appoints people. Well, just so long as you realize that when we get our oversight commission, you won't be appointing the commissioners. The people that will be appointed to that commission will have in their minds memorializing Christopher DeAndre Mitchell and making his life mean something for all black people, so that black people can walk the streets of Torrance without fear of being murdered by cops. Those are the people that are going to be on this new commission, and you won't be appointing any of them.
Anybody else? We are talking about a TIPSA employee, sir.
Yes, I am just a little bit shocked that you want to implement an animal control supervisor commission for almost $100,000 before you implement a civilian oversight commission that can actually do something and protect your community from police brutality. You need to fire the officers who killed Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. His life mattered. Matthew Concannon, Anthony Chavez need to be fired. Create a civilian oversight commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, I'll take number and title, please.
Yes, Your Honor. This is resolution number 2021-82, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, amending resolution number 2018-65, setting forth changes regarding hours, wages, and working conditions for employees represented by the Torrance Professional and Supervisory Association, TIPSA.
Move to adopt resolution 2021-82.
I second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9F from Communications and Information Technology to authorize staff to enter into CalNet Next Generation Master Service Agreement to provide various telecommunication services. From staff.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Ernest Gallo, Communications and Information Technology. Item 9F is a request to authorize staff to enter into the State of California's CalNet Telecommunications Services Agreement so that the city can continue to purchase discounted telephone services. CalNet allows the opportunity to leverage the state's considerable telecom portfolio to obtain discounted services. We've been receiving significant discounts for the last several years. We've been participating since 2002. We'd like to continue that. This particular agreement is for 5 years with 3 one-year extensions, and we ask for your approval. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. Are there any questions from the council? I see none. You can have a seat. Mr. Turdo wants to be heard.
Yes, dishonest mayor. I would suggest to get this telecommunication thing done, because even it cost or would cost the city $1.2 million. That way, you could communicate with people. So that way, when you have a commemoration of the 9/11 effect, people would know about it. because I don't know if this council member did not know about it, or they were kept away in the dark, in secret. Only you were celebrating, and a handful of people you invited probably. I did not see any of the council members there. Any of them. So what kind of communication this? You want to tell me these people knew about the celebration or commemoration and they did not show up? You want to tell me they forgot to show up? They did not show up. Only you show up.
Your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just for the record, this guy, he uttered a lie, the guy that was just up. He said that Fury is honorable. He ain't. He's a crook just like his son, Parasite Patrick. Fuck y'all.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to confer with the staff recommendation of the Acting Communication and Information Technology Director.
So moved.
I second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. That takes us to oral communication number 2. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comment on items not on the agenda. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, City Council cannot act on items raised during public comment, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Speakers under orals are limited to either oral communication number 1 or oral communication number 2, and in any event, no longer than 1 minute per speaker. Has anybody signed up for oral communication number 2?
No.
Anybody here wish to be heard? No, you already spoke. If you spoke at orals 1, then you can't speak at orals 2. Thank you. I see nobody, so we'll take it up here. Council orals, Councilmember Clowney. Okay, we're taking a recess right now. All right, we're back from our recess and moving on to the calendar. Next item on the agenda is council oral communications, and first up tonight is Councilmember Kalani.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to wish everyone a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Matucci.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Councilmember Walzer.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to the 3 wonderful cleanup projects for this Saturday, I also want to remind people that I mentioned last weekend, there's the large open house for the Salvation Army. This is a big opportunity to see what has been accomplished over probably about a 5-year period. There's a complete remodeling of the Salvation Army facility. It also includes a state-of-the-art hunt recording studio. This is audio recording. The whole facility has been remodeled. There's also the Crescendo School of Music and Dance will be featured. There's the opportunity to tour the facility, talk with different people involved in it, and also see all the service functions that they offer at the Salvation Army. And I hope you'll all attend. It is this Saturday, and it goes from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ashcroft.
Nothing. Good evening.
Councilmember Chen.
Nothing, Mayor. Good night.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to real quick say, compliment the staff on the police and fire and the mayor on the 9/11 tribute that we did at 5:46 a.m., which I did, in fact, get to on time. So it was my pleasure to be there. It was a really nice ceremony. Thank you very much, and good night, everybody.
Thank you. And I was just going to say that contrary to what somebody said, all the council were at the 9/11 except for Councilmember Ashcroft, who was out of town at a funeral. So at 5:46 in the morning, all of the council were here, as was our fire department, did a fantastic job, our police department as well. And I would encourage everybody to look at that and watch it on our Facebook page, because it was really a moving ceremony. As we see more and more people out in the community resuming their normal routines, it's important to remember that many service industry businesses are still struggling to recuperate their staff. I ask that you please be patient as these businesses remain short-staffed and are doing their best to bring you the services and goods you've missed over the past year. I know if you go to the market or to some of our stores, their shelves are looking a little empty, and a lot of that is because of the movement of goods into the community. I'd also like to remind our community that California's Office of Small Business Advocate, they call it Cal-OSBA, part of the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, they call that GoBiz, is still accepting applications for the California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program. To learn about eligibility requirements, I encourage people to visit CARELIEFGRANT. That's CAReliefgrant.com. It has all the information. The application period will run until September 30th, 2021, so time is getting short. And grants are being rewarded between $5,000 and $25,000. Applicants not selected to move forward in the review process in rounds 1 through 7 do not need to reapply and will be automatically moved into round 9. So new applicants will need to apply at CAReliefgrant.com. Although California is now open, there is still more information to share concerning COVID-19. Follow us on social media and visit torranceca.gov/COVID-19. For daily updates, tune into City Cable or torranceca.gov and watch live COVID-19 Today, Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m., and Weekends in Torrance, which airs every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you all again for your continued patience and supporting us in reopening responsibly. We really appreciate all the effort that you have been doing to keep our kids in school and keep our businesses open. It's so important. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn tonight's city council meeting to Tuesday, September 28th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. for closed session, with the regular meeting commencing at 6:30 p.m.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously.
Good night. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Difficulty speaking, sudden face drooping, or